This is a 1997 Pajero Evolution, and it is my new car. When I put my intro video on YouTube, I teased that I would be getting a new car, a rare car, and it took a little longer than I wanted to, but it is finally here. So, you might have heard of this car, you might not have heard of this car, but like I said, this is the 1997 Pajero Evolution. We'll do a full history video at some point on the Pajero Evolution, but to make things sweet and short, this is a homologation special, and if you don't know what that is, in certain classes of racing, you have to have a certain amount of production vehicles in order to race, and this is one of those. This is one of, some say 2,500, I've seen like 2,653 thrown around, but this is one of about 2,500 Pajero Evolutions in the entire world. Now, of course, they were only sold in Japan, but they are over 25 years old. They're obviously in America now, and this one is mine. So we're going to do, as you've already seen, a Doug Demuro style review. Doug Demuro is the GOAT car YouTuber in my mind. But before we do, we're going to talk about the process of getting this car, where I got it from, and why it took so long. So when I uploaded a video a couple weeks ago to intro this channel, I teased that I would be getting a rare, unique, special car. And this is that rare, unique, special car. I got it from Import Auto Center down in Greenville, South Carolina. The guy, Rob, that runs the business is awesome. If you're looking for an import car, and this is not an ad, I did not say I would do this. He doesn't know I have a YouTube channel. But go and get a car from Rob at Import Auto Center. He's got great customer service. You know, he will be your customer service guy and help you with the cars as long as you own the cars. He told me as long as I still own the car, I'm free to call him, text him, ask him any questions. And he's such a nice guy that he washes before he sells cars, and he calls you after you're home and asks you if you're still happy with the car, if anything went wrong, etc. So if you're in the Southeast US, or if you want to pay for shipping, go through Import Auto Center and talk to Rob. Rob's awesome. So I got it from Rob. It took a little bit longer because Rob, with his business, wants wiring money. I want you to wire money. I use Chime. Chime doesn't have wiring services. So it took an extra week to get the car, and my parents came to town, so that's why this video took a little long. But I've had this car for about a week now. I've driven it a decent amount. I mean, I drove it an hour and a half home from Greenville, South Carolina, and it's been awesome so far. So that's kind of how I got the car, what took so long, where I got it. Now let's go ahead and, as Doug Demuro says, look at the quirks and features. Doug, I promise this is an homage, not just a straight up copy if you somehow see this video. But let's get into what makes this car special and what this car has. So starting off in the exterior, you can see, first of all, it is a two-door SUV, which is a little uncommon. You see it in Jeeps, Broncos, and old SUVs like the old Blazer. But this is a race car, so there was no need for four doors. It did race in the Dakar Rally. Has the most titles in Dakar history. So it's got these big boxy fenders. It's got cooling vents here for the engine. You got these big, like, cat ear style wings, which we'll look at more closely when we tour around the car a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the whole outside of the car. You can see it here that there is this mirror here for parking in Japan because, of course, you're driving on the left side, you're parking on the left curb. So this is to help you align the parking. It's really useful for learning right-hand drive as well. I mean, that's kind of the whole profile of the car. It's a short, stubby car. It's hard, might be hard to tell on video, but it's a super short SUV. My fiance's new Honda Civic is longer than this vehicle. My Charger is way longer than this vehicle. But although it is short, it is also very, very wide. You'll see that in some shots. It is very wide. It's like as wide as my Charger, but way shorter than the Charger. One thing that you'll notice on this car too is we actually have the stock wheels, which, if you notice Pajero Evos for sale, if you keep an eye on them like I have over the last couple years, it's almost impossible, it seems like, to find them with stock wheels. So I was really happy to find stock wheels, including the spare wheel in the back. That's also a stock wheel. That was just something also I really liked about the car, was that it was a stock wheel. So then moving on to the rear, as I said, you can see these like cat ear style wings. You can see the stock spare here as well. And because we have a spare tire in here, that means the hatch doesn't open up. The hatch actually opens to the side, like so many vehicles that do have spares. Here We have a recovery hook on the back, and then it's hidden under the vehicle, but there is a single tip exhaust here. You can go and take a listen to that right now. So besides the spare, the wing, the recovery hook here, and the single exhaust, we also have here on this door, we have a full tool set that you can actually open up. And it's got a full tool set here, flashlight, wrenches, screwdrivers, etc. There's actually, for some reason, there's actually a door handle here. You can't unlock or lock this, but there is a door handle and a grab handle on the back. I guess just in case somebody's exiting and entering out of the back door here, if one of the seats is down. Also in the back here, we have the worst to open little door, but there is actually a bottle jack bolted into here. So if you get stuck off-roading or you need to jack up the vehicle, you can do that as well. Going to struggle with this thing, hopefully not, because we're recording. Looks like I did okay. So you can actually fold down the seats here as well. You can fold it down like that if you just want a flat platform on both seats, or you can even fold the seats all the way up like that and they'll stay like that. So if you need some more cargo space, you can do that as well. So you can fold both seats, and there's actually a decent amount of cargo space when you fold both seats. You know, you won't be able to fit huge pieces of furniture, but if you're going on a road trip with just 2 people, which I wouldn't recommend using the back seat too often, you can get a good amount of luggage in here. A dog perhaps, although I'd recommend putting them just in the back seat and seatbelting them in. And then you can fold up armrests, which doesn't really give you more storage space, but you can fold up the armrests that are in the back seat as well. It's a pretty basic vehicle. I mean, it's 1997. It's a race car. There is some tie-down straps as well in the back if you wanted to tie some things down and hold them still in the back. But that's pretty much the back of the car. Like, it's pretty bare bones. It's got some race car stuff like the jack, the toolkit, and you can fold up the seats and you can fold the armrests. They only go upwards. It would be nice if they went up with the seats, but they only go upwards here, and that's it. So then we move on to the front here, starting off with the big air intake here, the big ram hood scoop, whatever you want to call it, the ram air hood scoop, whatever you want to call it. Massive scoop on this big hood. Hopefully by now, between the front and the rear, you can see how wide this vehicle is. It's got a very rally car, just wire grill here, with the Mivik, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, badge. We'll talk more about the engine in a second, but Mivik is their VTEC. Big giant headlights, turn signals here. We have 4 individual fog lights, as well as another wire style lower grille, because as a race car, you don't need a big plastic or metal chrome grille. You just need good airflow. And then we have this big old skid plate here to help protect you when you're going off of jumps, running through the desert like they do in the Dakar rally. So, you know, it's good off-roading. It's not meant to be a slow off-roader. Haven't taken it off-road at all. Not meant to be a bit slow off-roader, but if you're hitting jumps or off-roading, you have a nice tough skid plate in the front, as well as recovery hook here, recovery hook here. So if you get stuck, you can be recovered from both front and back. And even on the front grille here, they got little extra slots to act as more ram air. So let's go ahead and pop the hood and look at the engine. So like I said, we have the 3.5 liter dual overhead cam Mivik V6. This V6 is 276 horsepower, but of course that was the gentleman's agreement back then. Some people say it's closer to 300 horsepower, and it's like 256 pound-feet of torque. I believe that's right, but it's somewhere around there. So it's got decent power. It's got decent torque. It only goes 0 to 60 in about the mid-7 seconds. Some places have tested as low as 6.9 seconds, some as high as 8.4 seconds. So we'll just say about mid-7 seconds, which for the 90s SUV really is not too bad. I mean, that's like normal car speed for a lot of cars now, but this is a race car SUV that's really meant to be off the road. And that's been tested, I think, in 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, because this does have 4-wheel drive. It's got 2-wheel drive, 4 high, 4 low, for all of your off-road situations, and of course 2-wheel drive for your on-road situations. The engine bay is pretty plain. I mean, you got a big plastic cover over the top. And this engine is completely stock. It's got just over 100,000 miles on it, and it's been running great so far. I've only had, like I said, for a week, and my longest drive was back from South Carolina and a little bit around town. But the engine, it runs pretty good. It doesn't sound like anything crazy because of the stock exhaust. But it's a fun little engine. It does what it needs to do, and it gets this car around, especially in the Dakar Rally. So let's go ahead and move inside. All right, so let's talk interior. So we're going to start with the doors, and we're just going to move over to the left. So the doors are pretty bare bones. There's some cloth here, which surprisingly gets very hot in the sun. That was surprising how hot this cloth is, but I guess it is. It's black. The top's kind of faded from the sun, so it's blue. Just cheap pleather, very 90s here, very 90s plastic, but it's a race car, so we're not really concerned with that. There's a window lock and 2 door switches and a door handle and a grab handle, and that is it for the door. The door pocket is very, very skinny. I feel like if I drop anything in the door pocket, I'm going to lose it and not be able to get it back because it is very, very skinny. So then moving on into the driver's side, there's carbon fiber kind of everywhere. It's around the gauge cluster. It's around the side vents on both sides, as well as the middle vent and clock, and the AC unit, head unit, whatever you want to call it, the climate control, and then the head unit here. There is the classic Japanese toll card holder that everybody gets when they or everyone likes to point out when they get an imported car. But the driver's seat area is pretty basic. We do have a fog light button here. We have I think this is the heated mirror. This might just be the front. This might be the rear defrost. I saw there was heated mirror somewhere. I'm still learning this car a little bit. And then we have hazards. We have our gauge cluster, which is, of course, in kilometers per hour. We have our fuel gauge, our temperature gauge. We actually have something here, too, that shows you whether you have 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive activated and which wheels are being driven, as well as the differential being locked. And it shows you what gear you're in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as well as park, reverse, neutral, drive. The reason it shows you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is because this transmission, although it's automatic, does actually have a manual shifting mode in it. But staying in the driver's side, we have fuel door open here. And the fuel door, when you look at it, actually, you can tell that this was a regular Pajero that they then modified and slapped these wide fenders on. Because when you look at the fuel door, you can see that extra piece of metal. And then, of course, we have the hood release. The stocks are backwards. From a left-hand drive car, we have the turn signals and the lights are on the right stock. The left stock is the front and rear windshield wipers. And then you just have a basic steering wheel, no buttons or anything. Because it's a race car, it's a 90s car. What does it need buttons for? It's just a leather steering wheel. And then this driver's seat is actually aftermarket. I was told it's a Recaro, maybe a Sparco. I don't see any branding on it. It's a little bit tight, so if I modify this car at all, it will probably be just replacing this seat. Moving on to the middle, we have our 3 extra gauges in the top middle, which show battery voltage, oil pressure, and a compass, which I can't quite figure out how to get to work properly. That's something I'm going to have to ask Facebook groups or forums. And it also shows the temperature as well. Moving down below that, we have our clock and our middle vents. You can open and close, and it looks like set to cool or regular air. I'm still learning things since this didn't come with the owner's manual, and if it did, I wouldn't be able to read it. And then you have you have your HVAC, you have your climate control, and then you have an aftermarket head unit, which I do want to replace with a CarPlay unit that you can order from Australia. Then in the middle of that, you have your automatic shifter, like I said, with manual mode, your drive, I would call it just a drive mode selector, where you can select 2-wheel drive, which is the rear wheels, or 4 high or 4 low for when you're off-roading. Behind that, you have your hand brake, you have a cigarette lighter. In front of that, you actually have a cigarette style outlet. You have an ashtray, a little coin holder, and then in terms of storage, there's not a whole lot. There's a big glove box over in the passenger side, but you also have a center console with a smaller area with a lid and then a bigger overall area, but it's still a very small center console. And then you get over to the passenger side and you have the stock Recaro, which I do wish the driver's seat was the stock Recaro so I could get the real full stock experience. But the reason they changed the seats is the stock Recaros do sit a little bit higher, and I've heard it compared to driving a bus. But the stock Recaro is very 90s looking. I really like the way it looks. Um, and it's pretty tight. It's not as tight as this aftermarket seat, which is another reason I might change it, but it's pretty tight, but it's got good support as well as an extended leg support that you can extend out if you got longer legs. And then it's just a lockable glove compartment and a very basic door on the other side. Same materials, same door layout, except there's only one window switch, and then just an airbag. So that's the basics of the front seat of the Pajero Evolution. Let's go ahead and move into the back seat. So the process for getting in the back seat isn't too long or too hard, but actually getting in the back seat can be a little bit brutal. So you pull a lever to scoot the seat forward, you fold the seat down, and this is all the gap you get. And I'm gonna do what Doug Demuro was famous for, partially famous for a long time, and that's getting into the back seat, which I have not done yet. It's not too bad if you fit, but if you don't, it's going to be a little bit of hell. Now, the back seat is pretty bare bones. There's a couple side storage pockets. There's some speakers back here. There's some armrests with a cup holder that you can fold up and out of the way, like we saw when I was in the back. And then a little clip back. There's a clip, I guess it's a seatbelt clip to keep the seatbelts out of the way, but not particularly useful if you're going to use the back seat. But the back seat's really bare bones. I mean, that's really it. There is more of the pattern on the seats here that the front Recaro has, but there's no vents on the roof. There's no vents in front of you. There's nothing back here. It's just a couple storage pockets, a couple cup holders, and an ashtray on each side because people used to really smoke a lot. But, I mean, that's it for the back seat. The back seat's pretty bare bones. Like I said, you can fold down these back seats. You can fold down one and have some extra space. But that's it for there's an adjustable headrest. But that's it for features. You got an adjustable headrest. You have ashtrays. One cup holder for each side. There is actually a middle seatbelt and buckle, but it'd be hard enough to fit two adults back here comfortably. I don't know if the stock front driver's seat had a rear pocket, but the back seat does not. And then there's switches on the side, on both sides, so the rear passengers can help themselves get out. But that's really it for the back seat. There's some grab handles, I guess I'm forgetting, and then these dome lights here. But the back seat is really bare bones. But yeah, that's it for the back seat as well. So that's the Pajero Evolution. And as Doug Demuro always says, now let's take it out on the road. I say get on the road. Let's take it out on the road. All right, so we are now in the Pajero Evolution, and we are driving. So this is actually the first right-hand drive car I've ever been in. I hadn't owned one before. I've never driven one. I've never ridden the passenger seat of one. So it's definitely something that's taken a bit getting used to. I'm still not quite used to it. I have probably a little over 2 hours of driving in here. So it's been an interesting experience to get used to. And also, sorry if I'm sweaty. I think the AC needs recharging. Rob at Import Auto Center said it worked, but the air is not very cold that comes out of it, and I have the windows up for sound quality. But it probably needs some wheel rebalancing. But other than that, this thing drives great. It handles well on roads. It definitely, you can feel the suspension travel when you're going around kind of tight corners, and living in Western North Carolina, there is definitely some tight corners that I am driving around, and that's part of why my phone is going to keep rotating throughout this. I apologize for that. But you can really feel the travel in the suspension, so it feels like you're rolling a lot, although you're not really body rolling a lot. I mean, it's definitely not meant for road track or back roading. It is certainly more of an off-road experience, especially like desert running and fast off-roading. It definitely feels like it's got a mid 7-second, sorry, I don't know what the hell that old vehicle is. It's got a mid 7-second-ish 0 to 60 time, and it definitely feels like that. It's not super blazing fast. It's quick enough. You can pass people. You can, go around people on the highway in traffic. You can certainly accelerate fairly quickly from a stoplight, but it is not a super quick driving vehicle. The ride is very smooth because of that off-road suspension. When you hit bumps, you barely feel them, where in my lower Charger, it feels like, with my seat all the way down, that I'm going to hit my head on the ceiling anytime that I hit any kind of bump. In this, you just kind of feel like you eat the bump and it's no big deal. So it's a very comfortable ride for the most part. The seat, like I said, is a little bit tight. And the funniest thing is I always feel I can always feel myself leaning towards the left as if I'm subconsciously trying to get into the left side of the car where I am used to. And of course, that's something that will just take some getting used to. Oh man, I need to come on this road. I've not been on this road. I need to come on this road in my Charger. Certainly not the road for the Pajero necessarily. But I mean, overall, it's a decent driving experience. I have no real complaints about it at all. I knew what I was getting into. I mean, it's a 90s off-road SUV, and it certainly feels like a 90s off-road SUV. You know, there's some rattles here or there, but this car is 28 years old. And at 28 years old, it's kind of expected to have some bumps and rattles here or there. So that's really no big deal in my mind. You know, if you're getting into one of these, you're getting into one because it's special, it looks cool. You want something that's rare. Interesting enough, the automatics tend to go for a little more unless you find a really nice manual, because the race cars were automatic, and so people want what the race car was, and the race car was an automatic. Although there is, you know, depending on who you ask, 100 to 200 manuals out there. The guy Rob I bought this from actually drives a manual Pajero, and he splits daily duties between that and an NSX. Really cool, interesting guy. But overall, it's a nice driving, nice comfortable ride vehicle that I have no real complaints about. And if you can find one, it fits in your budget. This one was about 30 grand. But if you can find one, fits in your budget, and you like stuff like this, I would 100% recommend it. I'm really happy. We will have some videos coming in the future. I don't know quite what my content's going to be involving actually driving the car. I've thought about looking into some off-roading. The guy Rob I bought it from said that he's jumped his. I don't know if I would go that far, but maybe try to find some off-roading. Maybe I'll take a road trip in it when I visit family or go somewhere. But yeah, if this is your kind of thing and you can find one in your budget, I would definitely recommend picking up. It's a unique, special vehicle. People who are into cars will want to talk to you about it. I filled up for gas right after I got the car, and at the gas station, someone didn't even know what it was, but it was just something unique and cool they hadn't seen before, and I had a couple-minute conversation with that guy. Super nice guy. So you will get some attention in it. It is definitely something different. People, even if they don't care about the car itself, they care about seeing you drive right-hand drive, and that's something that will get some attention. But overall, I'm really happy with this car. I don't mind the lack of features because I knew what I was getting into, and I love how the ride feels. So that's the 1997 Pajero Evolution. Let me know what your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to see more content of this Charger, automotive history, automotive education. If you want more of that, make sure you hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.